I am liking Takumi quite a bit after this episode of Food Wars. Like, his character, at first, my first impressions, like, soon as he popped up on screen, he was a little bit of an asshole. He was, and I'm not gonna say he still isn't an asshole, but I gotta admit, the dude at the very least can back up his words. And that's something we really haven't seen much of when it comes to some of the characters so far through Food Wars. I mean, Nikumi, she was a really skilled meat specialist. She was. And she had some really good meat. But that was pretty much the end of the line. And so this is kind of like the first time we have seen in Food Wars a character can back up their trash talking. Like, you know, how Soma was in the first episode. So, I like the introduction of Takumi and how this episode, or the second half of this episode, mainly focused on him and his cooking skills. Which is quite unexpected if you think about it, because usually when it comes to these type of series, the main character is usually always in the spotlight. So to see another character get the spotlight in this episode of Food Wars and actually get to shine, showcase his skills, and show that our main male character is not going to have an easy time with this upcoming battle, it makes me quite happy, because so far from Food Wars, our main male character hasn't really had to struggle, so to say. And I'm glad now with this dude right here that he's going to probably offer some form of challenge to Soma in the future when it comes to competitions and stuff like that, especially after the skill we saw in this episode when he managed to prepare this duck dish in like under an hour. It was very impressive. It was an impressive feat, and it made me quite fucking hungry. Like, oh my god, it made me hungry. But enough of that. The thing was, okay, I'm just very happy we have a character that was introduced that could back up his shit talk and would give a challenge to Soma. Because Soma, he was getting all prepped up and fired up to be cooking. Like, as soon as he saw this dude starting to hold his own words and start to cook really well, he was getting prepped up to like, okay, that's it, I want to be kicking some fucking ass. And I mean, I like that. I like that cliffhanger. I like this episode. Great pacing to that section of this episode. Now, besides that, when it came to Takumi and his brother's introduction along with my impressions of it, the first half of the episode mainly lets us know that we're getting into like a training arc or a camp arc or something like that. I don't know exactly what this arc could be called, but we're getting into like a camping arc. And so this camping arc, considered what some people call it, they call it the first level of hell. And I guess that's an appropriate name because, I mean, you can get expelled at any time. If you fail and fuck up and the people that are watching over you, like the instructors, they could fail you and fire you or whatever in their terms, and you go home, and you're done. You pack up your shit and you go home, and that's what this means. Like, this camping trip, if you do not do good grades, you're on the line of, like, you can get fired. And so I like the way this series takes, like, this to a different type of level. Like, if you fail, or you fuck up, or you don't try your hardest, you need to get your ass out of here. And that means only true good cooks, by the time the series gets, like, probably another 5 to 8 episodes in, only really good cooks can be in the series. So you get what I'm saying? Like, nobody that is, I guess, a shitty cook could make it in this school at all. So you need to be able to have your own set of skills, unless you're incredibly lucky. You have to be incredibly lucky, but that's very slim. And I'm willing to bet that we'll probably see a character like that, but the thing is, though, I'm just liking how this series is slowly starting to progress and upping the difficulty for Soma, because right now, it's kind of like a beginner's game. Like, if you were to, like, say, start a video game, the first couple levels, you know, they're easy. You can just trash them like they're nothing. Like, you just wreck it. Like Mario, perfect example. If you were to sit there just playing fucking Mario, World 1-1, too damn easy. Like, yeah, and then World 1-2, a little bit harder, but not that bad. And then, you know, as you continue on, it gets a little bit harder. And that's kind of what's going on with Food Wars. The difficulty is slowly ramping up. Even though the challenges are very hard right at the start, the difficulty is ramping up, and it's becoming more and more obvious, because as time progresses onward, it's going to be a lot harder to impress your instructors with food you make, because you can't be using the same food over and over. Like, let's say you're an expert steak cooker, and you were to cook this one specific item on the menu that's like the specific steak delicacy. You couldn't use that over and over to win your instructors over, so you need to have something new. So like I said, this ups the difficulty as the series goes on. So I really appreciate that, how the series is slowly doing that as it progresses, and it kind of feels a little bit more realistic and like we're really watching a journey through a school and people trying to learn from teachers to be like, master chefs. Speaking of master chefs, in this episode, we see new characters introduced. I'm not even going to try to remember all the names. I'm not. I'm sorry. There's too many fucking characters. I was just like, whoa. But I will say this. Those master chefs, damn, they're brutal. Like, very fucking brutal. Like, that girl that's watching over Soma's group right now, like, her inner thoughts, the way she's like, oh, this is just kind of like a warm-up match. I'm like, oh, God. Like, you know, just the way she was acting, damn. So, I like her. I like the new, like, female instructor that's watching over Soma's group right now. I'm guessing she's going to be, like, the main instructor that watches over the entire week, I'm assuming. But regardless of that, the thing is, okay, that one dude with the pinkish, reddish hair, when he went up to that dude right next to Soma, and he's like, you need to leave, you're expelled, I'm like, what the fuck did this dude do? Like, what? Like, he said that this dude had, like, a citrus-type hair smell, and it could ruin dishes. Now, I'm not a chef. I'm not an iron chef. I'm not a master chef, so I don't know shit. I'm not gonna act like I know shit. So, is that really true? Can your hair, if you have a certain citrus smell to it, ruin a dish? I mean, if you got, you know, your hair into the food, of course it's gonna ruin it, or, you know, if you contaminate it with, like, soap and shit, yeah, of course it's gonna be bad, but can really the after effects of your shampoo or whatever you use cause you to ruin a dish? Really? I didn't know that. If that's real, please, someone let me know. I know Food Wars has been realistic with its dishes. Like, I saw Chibi pop up in the comments with actual recipes that these dishes that Soma and them make are actually legit. They're legit dishes, the way they break it down and cook it. So, I'm not gonna really think that it's a lie. I mean, if that is the truth, if your, like, hair shampoo, just the smell off of it can ruin something, that's crazy. I didn't expect that. So, I don't know how to take that, because like I said, I'm not a chef. But if that is the truth, damn, I just learned something. And if it's not, that dude's a fucking asshole. One or the other. But I would still be quite pissed. If I was in that poor kid's shoes, and I was expelled over my hair product of just wanting to shampoo my fucking hair, let's say watermelon, I'd be pretty pissed. I'm gonna be honest. I would be pissed. Like, just imagine, if you pay thousands of dollars to get into this school, and then someone said, like, you're expelled. And you're like, why did I get expelled? Did I do bad? Did I cook well? What did I do? And they told you, like, oh, your hair product, it's contaminating the food. And you're thinking, like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Like, my hair? My hair? So, I mean, you gotta think about that. It would piss off anyone. It would. Oh, God. Just imagine. I mean, no, it's like this, okay? It's like this. Let's say you're doing an exam. Let's say, like, a driver's test or something. You're going in for a driver's test, and all of a sudden the examiner says, like, you gotta go home. Your hair has a citrus-flavored smell to it. You need to go home. You're expelled. After you wait 5 hours to get to the test. You get what I'm saying? So, what I'm getting at is, it would probably piss off anyone. It really would. And that's my thoughts of this episode of Food Wars. Good episode, though. Very, 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 very good episode. So tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.